Good afternoon, and welcome to day 7 of 108 days of initiation. So, today is personal story, journey, and process. I had another topic that I had prepared a little bit. When I woke up this morning, I felt like I knew what I was going to talk about, and then the day unfolded in a way where I was um, led in to change the topic and make it about me instead, because um, I've had questions about my personal journey and sharing more about that. So I knew that I would also, because it's also new people joining that doesn't really know me and my background. So I knew that I had to share my story at some point. So let's do this in a way. So this is completely unscripted, and I'm having what one might call a bad day. So what bad means is different for different people. So I'm just going to tune in and really allow this to be fully body led. So I woke up as enthusiastic as I usually am in the morning. My sacral hits pretty hard in the morning, especially if I feed it with things that I'm interested in and excited about. And right now, that is to launch Phoenix Rising and this whole project and everything. That is like the centerpiece of my attention. But as the morning unfolded, I started to sense, because I've started to exercise in the morning, I'm also pushing. Yesterday, I was pushing myself. Well, I wasn't pushing, I was stretching my capacity because I'm very sensitive for heat. I'm a Viking. I handle cold better than heat. And it's hot here in Thailand, even though it's winter. So I was in the sun a lot yesterday, and I could feel that I was also doing exercise while being hot. So why this is interesting is because I've had thyroid issues my whole life, and I was on a lot of medication. So that is something that I've been working on for a very long time, because my physical resilience was so low for so many years. I got sick. It's like I couldn't overextend myself in different ways, and then I got sick straight away. So I had to manage that in a way where that is completely controlled my life for 20 years. But if we just do a quick background, just from the top, I'm born in Sweden. My parents got divorced when I was 6, and that is when my father left. So there was no masculine structure. We only spent very little time with each other growing up. Well, we never really spent a lot of time. We have a good relationship, and it is what it is. But it's that affected me a lot when I grew up. And then my mother wasn't super emotionally stable, so I didn't have any like structure and stability growing up, which then made me do. My feeling growing up was there's no one there for me and I have to do it alone. So that is where the masculine energy started to take a lot of place. I had to create a masculine structure within myself that then became very rigid. So growing up, I was very lost. I spent 10 years in the restaurant industry as a bartender, and I was consuming a lot of alcohol, a lot of drugs, a lot of partying. And I was also in very, very masculine dominant environments. So that didn't really help the masculine structures. I became very tough. Like I was tough and yeah. And then fast forward, then I decided, like, I can't live like this anymore. I have to change my life. So then I went back to school and completely shifted my life into, I was started working in advertising. So I did quite a quick career, great career, and spent 10, 12 years doing that. And then everything kind of crumbled. I got fired. My relationship, I had an 8-year relationship with the most fantastic person, and it was a mutual decision to split up. But that, in that relationship, was the first time I started to heal the masculine imprints, because he was such a fantastic person, and I started to feel safe within that relationship. So God gave me 8 years to heal and to work in high level international global brands on advertising, and that was phenomenal. I learned so much from that. And then everything fell apart. My health started to plummet, like, severely. So at some point, when I was still in my party era, I discovered that my thyroid was low. So I started having eating medication for that. And I've had a lot of medication for that. And so basically what happened, so it's difficult for me to remember exactly what happened, because I really moved past it and it's been so many years, but I'm going to try to connect with it. And so I was very stressed. So I got extremely burnt out because I felt very not good enough. So I had to try really hard. And I was putting everything that I had into what I did back then to really change my life. I mean, the effort that I put in to go from the life and lifestyle that I had to what I created for myself was extraordinary. But it took so much effort, and I was living so deeply out of alignment because of how I grew up. I didn't have emotional imprints to deal with life in a holistic and safe and healthy way. And I wasn't emotionally available. I couldn't express myself, my needs. I didn't put myself first. And I was running like a madman until I collapsed. So I collapsed at work during a business trip. And I was on my way to the head office of our company, and also client meetings. And I remember stepping out of the subway, and I lost my memory. I lost my speech. I lost my. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what country I was. I looked at the signs. I didn't recognize the language. I didn't know where I was. And then I made it somehow to the office. And that's when, yeah. And then after that, my body went into an adrenaline shock. So my system was in hyper adrenaline mode. And it didn't go down. I was unable to lower my heart rate and the level of stress, and my mind was just absolutely racing all the time. So I couldn't sleep without medication for about 6 months. What I didn't do was to quit or I continued working. But I did have a friend, a colleague that helped me a lot. And we had like a Christmas break. So I got a couple of weeks of downtime, and then I transitioned out of that job into another job. And that's when things started to go. Yeah, so that was like the beginning of the end. So I was extremely burnt out. My system was in absolute stress, and I had very big issues with my thyroid, and that's also why the temperature shifts. The body, the thyroid is the organ that controls the temperature and the weight, and oh, it's so many things connected to that. But my big thing was that I didn't have any energy. I was just, I had to go home during lunch breaks and sleep, and I mean, I had to take like 3 naps a day to just function my life. So at the end, the doctors gave me steroids for the energy, and overnight I was a new person. So I realized that this is not good. It was too good to be true. My whole life just opened up. But what I realized was, okay, this is how I'm supposed to feel. This is the energy levels and the vibration in the body, and the ease that I feel towards living and life. That is how I should feel. So after that, I lost my job. So then me and my then boyfriend, we broke up. I got fired from work, and it was like everything in my life started to, it was just nothing there for me anymore. And I know that that was like the universe's way of making me move, because I didn't. So then I went to Chiang Mai, to Thailand, and I took a small carry-on bag and left for Thailand, and I started a multi-dimensional detox. So that is now 9 years ago. And what I also, so the thyroid is the biggest thing that affected me so much. The energy levels, the burnout, the adrenals, that was just wackadoodles. And my liver, my poor liver. Basically my main organs were not functioning very well, and my mental state and my emotional state was catastrophe. And then I had a masculine shield that I could protect myself through any situation. So I started to do a very deep detox. So I've been detoxing a lot. I started with a physical detox, like juice fasting. I did a lot of fasting for the first years. I just started cleaning out my system over and over and over again. And I mean, I basically removed everything that stressed me out. And I mean, we did create another stress factor, and that was moving to the other side of the country, starting a business here, and becoming an entrepreneur. So there's been, I change one stress to another. But what I've been, and I also had tremendous amount of pain in my body. I've had pain since I was a child. And there's been parts of my story where I wasn't able to move from the pain in my back. So I've had lower back pain, and then all above the spine, and then my shoulders and shoulder blades and my neck. And then I also had headaches. I was taking, in Sweden, there's a very famous painkiller that is water. You put it in the water. I don't know what that's called. I ate one whole tube of those every day, because there was also caffeine in them. So the amount of pain that I've had in my life is also extraordinary. And over the years, I have worked through all of these issues and restored the balance in my body in all of these areas. And there was a point where, so the doctor that I had back in Sweden, every year we took all these tests. So it was just page after page after page after page with all the tests that we could run. And then he gave me medication for all the things that was out of balance. So I had one of those pill things that old people have, that's just full of both medication and different supplements that I was taking every day. And then after like a year or 2 years, I was back in Sweden and I was visiting. And then I actually went to my doctor and took new tests because I transitioned off all the medication by myself in a very slow step-by-step way. So I allowed the body to, as my body started healing, because it's very, the extraordinary thing when you eat thyroid medication, if you eat too much medication, then, because I had hypothyroidism, and if you eat too much medication, it turns into hyper thyroid, what is called hyperthyroidism. And you notice that very clearly in the body because it's a very deep stress. So whenever the body started to react that way, I lowered the medication and all of a sudden I was at 0. And I went back and took all the tests again, page after page after page. And then we go through it together. And he was like, what has happened here? Because all my numbers except one was perfect. And the one that wasn't perfect was you don't eat enough protein. And that was very true because I didn't eat any protein at all at that point because I was fasting and eating a lot of fruits and a lot of raw food. So there wasn't, I was like, okay, I can understand that that's how it is. So he asked me, what have you been doing? And then I told him, and then he said, no, that's not it. That's not why you are doing better. And I was like, okay, then I don't know. So basically I didn't go into discussion there. I just left. But so the pain that I've been through, it has also is almost completely gone. I have a little bit of pain in the base of my spine still that I am accessing, and a little bit of aches and such sometimes. But compared to the pain that I've had, I think I feel like a normal person nowadays. But compared to how I've been feeling over the years has been, I mean, the change is extraordinary. And how I mean, I was wearing black on black. I had black hair. I was just all black for maybe 20 years. I sometimes wore red shoes or red earrings. But then I got so many comments from that, which now I understand is my 2 line in human design, that I don't want any attention. It's like I don't that's why this whole sharing and sitting like this is really a stretch, because it's like I'm so comfortable not being seen. But I know that that's my path. So anyway, but yeah, so, and I also, oh yeah, I had eating disorders. I had anorexia when I was growing up, and then that turned into overeating, which got triggered a little bit during the fasting. But the fasting also helped me to connect with what was the underlying issues. And then I've been working so deeply with the nervous system and the somatic and the belief systems and the emotional aspect, because that's the real issues, why we have to find the grounding for in other places. And I notice now how my body uses food for grounding. And but now it's not an eating disorder anymore. So that has fallen off. But that was actually one of the biggest things that I've worked through. I feel that was one of the harder things, because I had so much there was a deep emotional imprint there, that I was very stuck in that for many years. That was difficult for me to move through. Let me see if I can find some more information about that. There was a belief system connection that was very strong. Yeah, I'll see if it pops back up. So whenever I move through something, I'm not very sentimental. I'm not living in the past. I have no regrets because I know that everything is happening for me. So I don't look back like that. So when I move past something, it's difficult for me to reconnect with it. So I know I had huge stories about my breakthroughs and my journeys and things for a couple of years ago, but I don't remember them anymore. So that for me, that's also very positive because I'm moving into like a new timeline. Not everyone wants to forget their past. It's not that I want to forget. I just don't have any emotional connection to it anymore. And I remember the good times. And I have a very, I used to have a very negative view on what I've been through in my childhood and all of those things. I don't have that anymore. I look at my parents and I see just two beautiful, normal people trying to do their best, and young, and it's just everyone is doing the best that they can, and I wholeheartedly believe that we get the upbringing that we need in order to. So I believe that it's impossible to succeed as a parent. That is just my belief. You can do, there's a scale and you can be excellent, but I don't think that there is a way for parents to avoid the children having things that they need to work through as humans, because I believe that that's just the way that we are created, that we get all of these things that we need to work on, because if we don't have anything to work on, then who are we really? And the process of constant growth and constant evolution, I think, is the base of humanity. Now, Lucky the cat is coming here meowing. So I don't at all think that there's anyone to blame or shame or guilt in these processes. It's just I, as a human, I get these and these things. We all get a set of things that we need to kind of deal with in order to find happiness and health. So I don't look back at any of that in a way that I used to do when I had when I was before I worked through a lot of the emotional stuff. So as soon as the emotional stuff falls off, then everything becomes very clear and very free, and then you can see people for who they are and love them for who they are. And that is what I believe is one of the main points to do. So anyway, during these 9 years, so this is a end of a 9-year cycle for me, because it's 9 years ago since I came here. And during this time, then, so me and Simba knew each other from before. We met we were at the same MMA gym, mixed martial arts. He was in the pro group. I was not. I was on the board. But I was very devoted to that for many years. So we met when I had been here for a couple of months, and he came to visit and then decided to move with me. And we just sold everything we had. We left with 2 suitcases each, and then to establish a life here. And then we started working extremely deeply on ourselves, our own health. So we had 2 priorities: business and health. And the health came first. And then we started helping people doing the same thing. So Simba already had a background in personal training and massage therapist, and he was he was already helping people on a holistic level. You won't be able to get out there, Lucky, and you know that. Yeah. Come on, come on, come on. She wants candy and she wants to do something else. Okay, so we started So for the past 9 years, we've been living in a bubble, only focusing on our own health and helping others. That's the only thing that we've been doing in Chiang Mai. And then we moved to the farm, and we had, during this whole time, we had a retreat center. So people moved in with us. So for the past 8 years, we've been living with our clients in the same home, like bedroom next door, and then at the farm, they had their own bungalows. But that has been the base of our business. In-depth retreats with people who wanted to do the same kind of transformation that we did. So people have been staying with us for months, like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 10 months, 9 months, and up to 2 years was the longest time a person stayed with us. So we have been fully immersed in this work for the last 9 years. And earlier last year, we decided to close the retreat center. So people are not living with us in that sense. We are now only hosting private retreats. Lucky. Sorry about that. So now we are just making custom retreats, and we are working much more online, and we are going to travel more. So this is a little bit of background in what we've been doing and what we've been teaching. So now is the first time that we are kind of getting out of the bubble. And the last 2 years has been, we ended up in a couple of situations that really intensified our personal transformation. That was extremely challenging. So we are just coming out of that. So we've had 9 years of preparation, and the 2 last years have been a deep initiation where I really had to walk through the fire, and all the teachings that we have, especially the ones that is regarding the nervous system regulation and the somatic work and the emotional work, the level of grounding and the level of self-regulation was the absolute keys of how we made it through those years. And from this initiation, we have birthed each. So Simba has birthed his own modality, internal alchemy, and I have birthed Phoenix Rising. So Phoenix Rising is because I was so deep into the fire, this is what emerged. So this is how I was able to do so well. So the people that we have invited to this situation, and the trauma experts that has helped us partially during this, so we have been very recognized in the level of challenge that we've been through. So that the Phoenix Rising is the result of that, and also what made me into who I am after this. So that was a huge death and rebirth. And that is, I had to do this practice to keep my sanity, to keep my health, and I was really meeting my edge in every single aspect of my life. And because I had to go through that, this was born through me. So this came through me and has also saved me. So, and as a result of that, I now can reap the benefit of having to make such a deep connection with my body, and having to regulate my nervous system to that level, and having to face most of my unresolved emotional issues and imprints in a very fast paced level. And to 95%, I had to do the work alone. So that is what Phoenix Rising is coming from, and that's how I know it works. And that's just the gift from God that God gave me in a time where I was in a really dark place. So that's it. And here I am. And now, after these 9 years, it's time to launch my own brand. So I've been kind of hiding over the years. I've been hiding behind the retreat center. I've been hiding behind the brand Living with the Spirit. I've been hiding behind Simba because he is the master and he is so good at what he does. And I was always kind of behind him. And it was easy for me to just be the CEO and do the business kind of things and not really stepping out. I mean, I've had my own brand for a while, and I've had very, very high ticket clients and high level of support, and the change that we have been able to accommodate for people and the results that we have in people, but it's always been the working together part, more or less. So now you see my body is just acting up. So now it's time for me to launch my own brand and come out of. So this 2-year initiation just pulled me into my line 2 hermit mode. And I have tried to share my journey over the years. But I was just never able to put myself out there in a way where I could do this and just sit and riff like this without any response and things like that. I was just completely blocked. And now I am moving through these things very quickly. I mean, it took me like 4 days to get over myself. I mean, if you look back at the days, I think I'm doing pretty well with just riffing on my own. So I'm very satisfied with myself and what I've done in this. So basically, the Phoenix Rising is you can do anything that you want. You can overcome anything. You can heal. I mean, okay, we're on YouTube, so I can't say exactly what I want. And this is not against any medical, you need to do everything together with your doctor and all of that jazz. And I didn't, I did. Yeah, that's a completely different discussion. Never mind. Anyway, the Phoenix Rising is the connection to the body, to be in full connection with the body and allowing the body to lead, silencing the mind, activating the spine and the Kundalini energy and the life force energy that is. So now, today, I feel it was years ago when I surpassed the feeling that I had on those steroids. I mean, I loved that feeling. So it took me just a couple of days when I realized this cannot be healthy, because where does this come from? I need to be able to produce this on my own. And it's years ago now that I surpassed that level of energy and that level of peace in my body. And the pain is, I have no pain. All my organs are back online. And it's just a phenomenal feeling to be able to produce that level of freedom, the physical freedom, the emotional freedom, and the spiritual and mental and energetical freedom that it means when you just don't have that feeling in your body anymore. Like being able to operate in your system without feeling absolute discomfort all the time, and just having the belief system that I know that I can create anything that I want. So it's just up to me, and being able to look at myself, and I call it, like, I'm going to do one session on people pleasing versus identity alignment, or identity fluidity, because basically you're a multidimensional being, and you can be very fluid with your identity because you can upgrade it at any time. So the imprints, once the imprints resolve, then you become much more fluid as a person, and then you can look at things and like, oh, I was about to people please, but now I want to do. It's like you can take a situation and then look at it from multiple angles and then decide how you want to do, instead of being completely run by emotions, imprints, belief systems, negative self-talk, and what you believe about yourself and the world and all of that. So the Phoenix Rising is just freeing yourself of all of that, so the intelligence of the body can be in the main driver's seat, so that you can speak freely, be free, operate from sovereignty, operate from your own authority, having very clear boundaries, having a very strong personal power, and being able to navigate the world and not be taken astray once, because life is like an ocean, and the ocean is just not always still. Life will always be dynamic. That's why I want to talk about the duality of the world, that is the main foundation of how this world is functioning. And we that's just not something that we can change. So we have to align with nature, align with the universe, align with God, align with what is actually happening. And once we remove the control, and that is because we have fear, we have a lot of control. So when we start to remove the fear and we can move freely in the world, and we are emotionally balanced, and we have non-limiting belief systems, then we can operate through the world from a completely different space in our bodies, and we live in total harmony with what happens. And then we are here on a soul adventure, because the challenges that we face is not challenges, they are upgrades. So it's a Phoenix Rising is a complete system for how to break free from the imprints of the past and really step into the body's full potential, and then navigate towards the future and your purpose and your destiny in a vehicle that is collaborating, that has an intelligence that is just above and beyond. So that's what it is. So that's what happened today. I felt like absolute shit coming into this. There's a lot of other things that has been going on. So when you start, there's a lot going on this planet at the moment. There's a lot of energy. So when you are trying to make a change for yourself, and that is why this is called 108 days of initiation, because when you are able to find what you want and you really start moving in that direction, there's a lot of things that are going to shift, because you are moving structures in your life, energetical structures. And when you start to expand those or move those or try to break them down and stuff, then things are going to happen. And it's not always a straight line. So today was a very difficult, no, not a very, I've had worse days. Absolutely. It was, I started to feel that my energy was going down, and I started to feel like I was getting sick. And I know, okay, I haven't been sick in 9 years. So I know that there's something emotional or something deeper that's wanting to come to the surface. And then things in the external world kind of mirrored that back to me. And I was about to do this session much earlier today, but I didn't because of these things. And then I felt a bit defeated and depleted and deflated. And then I just, okay, then I will just follow my body. I will honor my body. I will just speak from my voice, and I will speak about my personal journey and however that wants to come out. So I honored myself first. And now 40 minutes later, I feel much, 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 much better. So it's about honoring the self, honoring the body, working together with the body, even in the hard days. It's easy when it's easy. And when the challenges comes, that's when we grow. So I'm growing today. I feel a little bit better now. So, yep, 40 minutes. I'm still in because I asked about the length. So now I'm in that I kind of failed when I made them shorter, when I know that's not the case, and I can't allow time limits on this yet. there's still too much that wants to come out in the way that it wants to come out. So I can't put time limits on it yet. I know that I will probably be good at that a little bit later on. But it's there's a lot that wants to come out. And that is connected to weight, physical weight. So we're going to talk about that at some point too. I'm sharing a little bit on my personal journey on my Instagram stories, mainly, if you want to follow me there, Sara Marie Spirit. On Sunday, January 11, the 111 portal, I will be available in the Telegram group to respond with voice notes to any comments, any questions, if you're wondering about a certain topic, if there's anything in the multidimensional detox that, anything that comes up, I will be dedicating the day to you guys. And I will also let you know, I will probably do a live stream. I will let you know the time so you can interact with me live if you would like during that time. So I might do a poll or something with the day, because I'm pretty open that day, so I can adjust myself to you guys. So please drop in the comments and the questions in the channel. There's a topic channel topic that is dedicated to the 111 portal if you have questions. That's it for today. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey. If you have questions about my personal journey, please let me know. There's tons of things that I haven't shared about it. There's also things that I will remember that I've healed within myself. Anyway, thank you so much. Let me know what you think. Love you so much. See you tomorrow. Ciao.